Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. In a major development today, the Supreme Court has granted conditional bail to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in the Liquorgate case. Kejriwal has now walked out of jail, though the apex court has given relief to Arvind Kejriwal, but it also upheld the arrest of the Delhi Chief Minister by the CBI. And while the Aam Aadmi Party is celebrating the verdict with slogans of Satyamev Jayate, Supreme Court has clearly stated that as Arvind Kejriwal walks out of jail, he won't have the authority to perform his chief ministerial duties. As per the bail conditions, Arvind Kejriwal can't visit the Secretariat, he can't sign official files, he cannot make public comments about the case and can't access official files related to the case, and he strictly cannot interact, in fact, with any witness in this case. Let's listen in to what the Aam Aadmi Party has said about the Supreme Court verdict.
केजरीवाल डर जाएगा, केजरीवाल के हौसले टूट जाएंगे, केजरीवाल का साहस टूट जाएगा। दोस्तों, जेल की दीवारों ने मेरे साहस को 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ा दिया है। जुडिशरी को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जजों को डराया धमकाया जा रहा है। आज देश के अंदर इलेक्शन कमीशन को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, ईडी पे कब्जा किया जा रहा है, सीबीआई पे कब्जा किया जा रहा है।
भाजपा के मंसूबों पे पानी फिर गया। वो लोग विपक्ष के नेताओं को जेल में डाल के सत्ता में बने रहना चाहते हैं, उनका मकसद ही ये है।
आज माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का आदेश भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मुंह पे एक कड़ा तमाचा है कि आप एजेंसियों का दुरुपयोग कर रहे हो। आपने एजेंसियों को अपना केज पैरट बना के रखा हुआ है।
हमारे पार्टी के मुखिया अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की रिहाई ने यह साबित कर दिया है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के झूठ का पहाड़ ध्वस्त हो चुका है।
आज भी सीबीआई एक पिंजरे में कैद तोते की तरह है, जिसको आजाद करने की जरूरत है। तो आज तो मौका है कि देश के गृह मंत्री जो सीधे सीबीआई को संभालते हैं, वो देश को इसके बारे में जवाब दें कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो कहा है उसके बारे में उनको क्या कहना है।
आप सोचिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट को अपने आदेश में कहना पड़ा कि सीबीआई को एक पिंजरे में बंद तोते के समान काम नहीं करना है। सीबीआई को अपने फैसले में कहना पड़ा कि सीबीआई को इंडिपेंडेंट होना पड़ेगा।
मैं तहे दिल से स्वागत करता हूं इस फैसले का, और बस एक ही चीज कहना चाहता हूं इस भावुक लम्हे में कि वेलकम बैक अरविंद केजरीवाल।
Supreme Court, while pronouncing the verdict, Justice Ujjwal Bhuyan has blasted the CBI, saying that the central agency must show that it is an uncaged parrot. The two-judge bench, comprising of Justice Suryakant and Justice Ujjwal Bhuyan, also differed on the legality of the arrest by Kejriwal as far as CBI is concerned. While Justice Kant said that there was no infirmity as far as the arrest is concerned, Justice Ujjwal Bhuyan did not agree with the timing and the necessity of the arrest. After Aam Aadmi Party hailed the verdict by the top court, BJP has reminded the opposition of the Supreme Court compromised barb after PM Modi attended the Ganesh Puja at Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud's residence. The BJP has alleged that Kejriwal, who's been granted conditional bail by Supreme Court, has no moral authority to continue as Chief Minister because he still stands accused of corruption. Listen in to the war of words.
और ये कहना गलत नहीं होगा, जेल वाला सीएम अब बेल वाला सीएम हो गया है। केजरीवाल को तुरंत चाहिए पद से इस्तीफा दे दे, लेकिन बेशरम अरविंद केजरीवाल ऐसा करेंगे नहीं।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी शराब घोटाले के किंग पिन हैं, बल्कि सर से लेकर पांव तक शराब घोटाले में लिप्त हैं। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी एक बेपरवाह सरकार के एक लापरवाह मुख्यमंत्री हैं।
वो दिल्ली का दोषी है, वो दिल्ली का अपराधी है। कोर्ट कहती है कि आप मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में कोई फाइल साइन नहीं कर सकते, ऑफिस नहीं जा सकते। जब कुछ कर नहीं सकते तो इस्तीफा दो, किसी और को लाओ।
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest now. Joining us with us is Rohan Gupta, national spokesperson of BJP. Abhishek Sudhir is a political analyst. Joining us with us also is Kailash Adhikari, MD of Governance Now. Joining us also is Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate of the Supreme Court. But my first question goes out to Ravi Srivastava, political analyst. Ravi Srivastava, this is a question that the BJP is asking. They are asking that now that Arvind Kejriwal has got bail, is it that now the Indian judiciary is uncompromised? Is that going to be the stand now taken by the Aam Aadmi Party and the India Alliance?
Madhav, this is a very a hypothetical kind of a thing, that Indian judiciary is fully compromised or partially compromised or uncompromised. It's not a question. The question here is, जो हिंदी में एक से है, सत्य पराजित हो सकता, परेशान हो सकता है, पराजित नहीं. तो सत्य परेशान होता रहा, हमारे खिलाफ फैसले हुए, एडजर्नमेंट हुए, जजमेंट रिजर्व हुए, तो वो परेशान करने वाली बातें थी और उसके लिए लोगों ने ये कहा कि भाई हमारे पक्ष में फैसला नहीं आया. But now the situation, ultimately the truth wins. The truth comes victorious. The truth is that Arvind Kejriwal has got the bail today. That's a reality and that's a fact. As far as the conditional bail is concerned, most of the bail have got the certain conditions. He cannot meet the witnesses, he cannot influence the witnesses, he has to pay 10 lakh rupees bond, he cannot go out. All these conditions were there with the ED bail also. There is nothing new in it.
No, but the point is he can't perform his duties as Chief Minister, isn't it?
And all those things are concerned. No, I'm telling you, no, he cannot. He can always go in appeal for that, for a larger bench. He can ask for it that as a Chief Minister, if I don't perform my duties, what for I am out here? So I think the court will be considerate to that. And we have seen that I think one judge had not agreed with that. Justice Boyan perhaps had not agreed with that. And the more important here is the CBI director should be sacked forthwith. The kind of observations are there, the way that their partiality, the bias, the kind of undue hurry, the insurance arrest, all those things.
Well, there are separate observations in a concurrent judgment. The judgment doesn't record that in terms of actually differing in the final outcome. But yes, there are serious observations. And let me put that question across to Rohan Gupta. Rohan Gupta, there are serious observations from the bench. While finally the order has granted bail, while the order has given certain conditions, but there are questions about the arrest itself as to whether the timing of the CBI's case was just after the lower court in fact granted bail in the ED case is concerned, and that aspect has been questioned by the bench today.
Again, I think this is today's judgment has been a tight slap on Aam Aadmi Party's face. They have been going for moral victory and all, but what Supreme Court has clearly said that the arrest was legal. Can they question the action by Supreme Court? They could not get bail till today. What does it mean? The case is legal. Otherwise, the merits in the case, they could have got bail long back. And getting bail is not moral victory. If you read the Supreme Court order, it clearly says that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal cannot perform any duty as CM. Neither he can go to CM residence, nor he can go to his office. What they are talking about? I think today is the day he should have resigned from the CM post. Because that's a big insult to the democracy, where Supreme Court has ensured that the CM cannot go to his office or residence, still that person continues on the post of CM. As far as the people are concerned, the perception of people are concerned, they have shown their perception in Delhi Lok Sabha elections where Aam Aadmi Party lost all the seats. So what they are talking about? People of Delhi and people of country know that this person has committed the crime. For this he has been penalized and now he is out on bail. Obviously the criminals get the bail. But making out a big issue that Satyamev Jayate or moral victory, I think if they read the judgment, they will refrain from it. And the people of the country and people of Delhi, they have lost confidence in Aam Aadmi Party.
All right. Let me bring in fact, some of our other panelists. In fact, Justice Suryakant Sanjay Hegde says that CBI has complied with Section 41A. There's no violation of law. And, at the end of the day, when the central agencies and the competence is questioned, in this particular case, the fact that the arrest has been upheld, of course, there are questions. It's not black and white in that sense, but the final order does record that the arrest was in compliance with law.
See, there is a technical argument made as to why the arrest was not was illegal. That argument applies not only to Arvind Kejriwal's case, but it applies to a whole host of cases, and it's on the interpretation of the law. The court has said that no, the CBI was within its rights to arrest. There is compliance of Section 41A, but the other judge, Justice Bhuiyan, has said in a functional democracy governed by the rule of law, perception matters. Like Caesar's wife, an investigating agency must be above board. Not so long ago, this court had castigated the CBI, compared it to a caged parrot. That was about 12 years ago with Justice R.M. Lodha, if I remember correctly. It is imperative that the CBI dispel the notion of it being a caged parrot. Rather, the perception should be that of an uncaged parrot. So, if today I was heading the CBI, I would be, to use the Additional Solicitor General's felicitous words, rather demoralized. The agency has been found wanting in its fairness. And the other question about not signing the files and all that, Justice Bhuiyan has made it very clear that he has his doubts about that condition, but as a matter of judicial discipline, because another bench in the ED case has already imposed those conditions, he continues with those conditions. I think this is much more than a moral victory. It is a tight, resounding slap against the misuse of agencies. If people want to see it, they will see it. If they don't want to see it, then let them remain ostrich-like.
All right. And I'm going to read out, you've read the cage parrot part of what Justice Bhuiyan said. And before I go across to Abhishek Sudhir, this is what has been stated by Justice Bhuiyan. He says the arrest by CBI raises more questions than it answers. CBI didn't feel the need to arrest him, though he was interrogated in March 2023. And it was only after his ED arrest was stayed that CBI became active and sought custody of Kejriwal, and thus no need of arrest for over 22 months. Such action by CBI raises serious questions on the timing of the arrest, and such an arrest by CBI was only to frustrate the bail granted in the ED case. Those are some very strong words, Abhishek Sudhir. Of course, Sanjay Hegde says that it's a tight slap on the face of the CBI. Please respond to him.
Well, I think Justice Suryakant took a completely contrary view, where he held that the arrest was completely legal by the CBI. I think Mr. Hegde referred to former Chief Justice Lodha's remarks. I think those remarks were made when the Congress government, or should I say the Congress-led UPA government, was in power. The CBI has been caged by the Congress party as well. In fact, you could say they were the original cagers of the CBI. And these remarks of the Supreme Court have been made for several, decades now, almost, you could say, in different language, cage parrot being the latest iteration. So the CBI being a cage parrot is nothing new. But of course, that's not ideal. I think what I would say... Are
you saying that is desirable or acceptable, or admitting it's a cage parrot, Abhishek?
Well...
I surely hope you're not implying that.
Politically, if you're going to say that only the BJP... I'm not implying that at all, but if you're going to say that the BJP is caging the CBI, the original phraseology of a caged parrot was made when the Congress-led UPA government was in power. Now, if we go back to also the 2012, that was the time of Arvind Kejriwal's shoot and scoot politics, if you remember. He would say that if one person even has one allegation of corruption against them, they should resign. He accused Nitin Gadkari of corruption, then was sued for defamation, apologized. Did the same with Arun Jaitley, was sued for defamation, then apologized. He did the same with Sharad Pawar, and then took back his words, and now, he's part of the India alliance with Sharad Pawar. From shoot and scoot, it's become loot and scoot now.
Okay.
Arvind Kejriwal has spent 6 months in jail. He cannot even go to the Chief Minister's office while on bail. He should resign. Look, I will just say one thing, Madhav. What did the Aam Aadmi Party say? Jail ka jawab vote se. Right? That was the slogan of the Aam Aadmi Party's Lok Sabha campaign. Jail ka jawab to पब्लिक ने आपको दे दिया है ना. The court of public opinion has convicted Arvind Kejriwal. They did not give Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party a single seat in the Delhi Lok Sabha elections while he was in jail and while he came out on bail to campaign for a brief period of 10-12 days. Right? Satya parajit hota hai, right? What is it? Satya pareshan hota hai, but parajit nahi hota hai.
Okay. I'm going to bring in Tehseen on the point that you made. Once again, I'm going to go one by one because you've covered a lot of points. But Tehseen, the first point that is being made here by Abhishek Sudhir is that, look here, the cage parrot allegation hasn't come out now. It was the original phraseology of the UPA regime. Please respond to that.
Thank you, Madhav, for having me on the show. And I agree with Abhishek. And that's what Sanjay Hegde also said. It's always been a cage parrot, maybe more so the Congress. But in 2014, I remember watching Times Now, there was a gentleman, remind me of his name. He said that he will build a new India. He said 2014 onwards, India will be nothing like what was prior 2014. The gentleman should have said 2014, 1924, he's going to do exactly what Congress did. He should have said that. Why did he not say? Arun Jaitley ji said on the floor of Parliament, and I respect, I'm bowing myself before the judges, but I'm quoting Arun Jaitley ji. He said there are two types of judges: those who know the law, those who know the lawmakers or the law minister. This is Arun Jaitley ji. Arun Jaitley ji spoke about the CBI being completely a cage parrot, CBI doing exactly what the government did. Today, when the same thing nothing has changed, why are we wrong in asking that question? Yes, I agree with Abhishek. Arvind Kejriwal was a terrible politician. He ran, he shot and screwed, but it still does not give anyone the right to take away his liberty. It still does not give people the right to put him behind jar. Not an iota of evidence has come out. I want to say one more thing, and I'm again bowing my head before the courts, and I say this, and Sanjay, if I'm in trouble, you will have to stand up and defend me, Sanjay, along with Abhishek.
Well, Tehseen, please choose your words carefully. Don't get us into trouble.
I'm going to be within the Lakshman Rekha, but I'm going to say this because I have to. I would fail my conscience if I said this. I am astounded with the honorable judges asking the Chief Minister not to go to office and not to go to his official residence. I am sorry. It is before them to give bail. They cannot and should not be getting into this domain. If a politician does not do politics, and this has happened before once.
Tehseen, here's the point. Just a few minutes ago, Ravi Srivastava said, why are you so astounded? This is what has happened in EDA case also. He says, I'm not astounded, and you say you're very astounded.
Because for me, the principle is more important. It happened earlier in one of the cases, in the Kashmir case, where Sitaram Yechury, the late Sitaram Yechury, wanted to go meet his comrade. The Supreme Court told him, yes, you can go to Kashmir, you will not do politics. Look, courts cannot get into the domain of the executive. It is very, very wrong. Look, if a businessman is charged by the CBI, okay, you can't tell him, don't go and stay in your house. Okay, he's charged by CBI. You keep his passport. He won't interfere in the investigation. He won't bribe witnesses. He won't hassle witnesses. You tell him, don't go to the official residence. Don't take meetings. I think the courts have crossed the line.
Okay, Kailash. I want Kailash to come in on this. Kailash, have the courts really crossed the line in doing this, or is this standard practice to prevent any kind of influencing of the investigation and the other processes of law?
You know, Madhav, firstly, I'd like to say that the Honorable Supreme Court is a temple of judiciary. And I believe that, okay, one can have an opinion on it, on the functioning of the judiciary of our country. But as each and every Indian, we must have complete faith and resounding faith in the judgments given by each and every part of our judiciary, including the Honorable Supreme Court. A. B, the entire moral victory, which is now being propagated by the Aam Aadmi Party, I don't think it is a moral, such high ground of moral victory which they are claiming right now, when as a matter of fact the Honorable Supreme Court in its judgment has clearly stated that being the sitting Chief Minister of the state of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal is not allowed to visit office or sign any official documents. I mean, he's barred by the Honorable Court in discharging his any official duty. And I do agree with the gentleman where he spoke about the fact that in a democracy it is for the people, by the people, and of the people, and the people of this nation in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections have actually shown a mirror to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, where the Aam Aadmi Party scored a duck out of the 7 seats of Delhi. So the entire moral victory that he is claiming to be the son of the soil, and that I also heard when he just came out of the Tihar jail that all those people who have kept the country in the dark and bringing out into the open. I mean, all those are just hollow statements, and they're just political statements just being fresh out of the Tihar jail.
Okay, these are just hollow statements, but Ravi Srivastava, what's really there? Of course, Arvind Kejriwal has come out, but at the end of the day, the Satyameva Jayate and the kind of statements coming in appear as if Kejriwal has won the entire case. The court hasn't said anything on the merits of this case.
Madhav, just now one learned lawyer friend said that he has been convicted or something like that. I think there is no conviction at all. Another thing is that unless proved otherwise, every person is innocent. So in my opinion, Arvind Kejriwal is innocent. And as far as the trial is concerned, at least it is going to take more than 2 decades. The way the judiciary, Indian judiciary works, I think it is going to take more than 2 decades. And by that time, the case will die its own natural death. But the fact remains here is that the time lost, it was precious, and that has costed the Aam Aadmi Party considerably. I would say as far as the Lok Sabha elections are concerned, as far as the forthcoming even Haryana elections are concerned, enough ground has been lost by the Aam Aadmi Party because of Arvind Kejriwal being in the jail. As far as the signing the documents and all those things are concerned, I think for 10 years, Arvind Kejriwal did not have any official position. He was only a chief minister. He did not have any portfolio with him. So it does not make any difference, but it's a fact that a sitting chief minister cannot be deprived of his,
But why didn't he have a portfolio, sir, for 10 years? Who deprived him of the portfolio?
Actions. And I think No, that is his prerogative. I won't question that. But the fact is,
rather unusual one. I don't think I've seen of many chief ministers without a single portfolio.
This is very. See, that is okay. It is his prerogative. He doesn't want to have any portfolio with him. But the fact is, he can still go to the honorable court and ask for it, because this is not the domain of the honorable court to decide that how should he function.
Okay.
Because he is not going to, he already clarified the other bail conditions are there, not to affect the witnesses, not to contact the witnesses, not to do certain things which are already written over there.
Okay,
so
here's the question. Here's the question to Rohan Gupta. Rohan Gupta, is the case against the Aam Aadmi Party falling apart in Liquorgate? Because here they are saying that it's close to 2 years since the investigation began. The trial has not yet begun. And look at all the main suspects in the case, whether it's Manish Sisodia, whether it is Arvind Kejriwal, whether it is against Sanjay Singh, they're all now out on bail. Is the case falling apart?
That is what we need to understand, that when people have given their verdict in Delhi, people understand what is the reality. And getting bail doesn't mean that you are not culprit. Obviously, as per the law, any culprit, he will get bail as per the law, and that is what these people have gone. You need to understand there are two aspects of anything. One is the factual things, and second is perception. In this case, Aam Aadmi Party is failing both of them. When you read Supreme Court judgment, when Supreme Court says that he cannot perform his duties as CM, neither can go to residence, nor go to office, nor sign any file, what are they talking about? Still they are saying that they are innocent. If he is innocent, you tell me why Supreme Court has barred from going into office? If he is innocent, why Supreme Court has put so much bars on his functions? If he is innocent, why people of Delhi ensured that he loses elections, all 7 seats where they have thumping majority in assembly? It clearly means the facts on ground are in the perception of the people. The facts on ground are the points on which Supreme Court has granted his bail. Any convict, any criminal will get bail after a certain time. Till now, they were not getting bail. They were questioning government. They were questioning CBI. But giving bail is the work of courts, not CBI or government. If you are not able to get the court on the facts in the case from the court, it means it is not true. And even after today's verdict, if they can say that they have moral victory, I think ऊपर वाला देख रहा है. They are living in Alice in Wonderland. जनता ने उनको एक बार चमत्कार दिखाया, आगे दिल्ली में भी जनता चमत्कार दिखाएगी.
Okay, there's no moral victory here, Sanjay Hegde. There's no moral victory. It's just a hallucination. That's what Rohan Gupta seems to suggest.
Well, going by the arguments made that if bail was granted, the entire Delhi High Court would get demoralized. Then today saying that there is no moral victory or there is no victory, I think that's a bit rich. And Justice Bhuiyan said, though I have serious reservations on the clauses which debar the appellant from entering the office of Chief Minister and Delhi Secretariat as well as signing files, having regard to judicial discipline, I would refrain from further expressing my views thereon at this stage, since those conditions have been imposed in a separate ED case by a 2-judge bench. And those conditions were imposed at a time when the 2-judge bench gave Mr. Kejriwal bail on grounds that he had to he had to canvass in the elections. For electioneering, at that point of time, those conditions were imposed, and then they continued in the final order in the ED case. They were, in my view, time specific. I don't think that if an application is made today, those conditions will be reiterated. But that's for another day. Today is, I can only think of those, of Fez's verse. यूं ही हमेशा हमने लगाए आग में फूल, न उनकी हार नहीं, न हमारी जीत नहीं.
All right. Sanjay Hegde, interesting to see you quote Faiz over there. But let me put this question across to Abhishek. Sudhir, end of the day, what stops the court from granting relief on these stringent conditions, which were put in another context when the Lok Sabha elections were underway? It's something that can easily be removed by the court. Is it that simple, Abhishek, Sudhir?
Yeah, see, Madhav. Yeah, see, Tehseen made some interesting points. He said, why is the Supreme Court imposing a condition that he cannot witness, visit his office, that Arvind Kejriwal cannot visit his office and sign files? There's a very simple reason, because Sanjay Hegde will attest to this, that the biggest fear for a court when it's granting bail to an accused is tampering of evidence, tampering with witnesses, influencing witnesses. It is a bail condition that has been accepted by Arvind Kejriwal's legal team, both in the ED case and the CBI case. They have accepted those conditions. So the Supreme Court is well within that Lakshman Rekha, is well within those rights to direct Arvind Kejriwal to not tamper with evidence and to not influence witnesses. Madhav, in this case, devices that were used by all the key actors have been destroyed. Multiple phones have been changed. Cabinet notings and files are missing. Basically, the Supreme Court has a real apprehension that Arvind Kejriwal could influence and tamper with evidence. Now, one more point, Madhav. The simple point is this. Arvind Kejriwal is not innocent. You had Engineer Rashid, a terrorist who was given bail this week to campaign. Is Aam Aadmi Party going to say, oh, Satya pareshan ho sakta hai, parajit nahi ho sakta hai? Engineer Rashid is also innocent. As Rohan Gupta said, bail is a right. Okay, Arvind Kejriwal has got bail. And the most damning evidence against Arvind Kejriwal is simply this. His own legal team, Vivek Jain, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, have repeatedly said Arvind Kejriwal has the right not to incriminate himself, but an innocent man will answer all questions. An innocent man will not give non-evasive replies. An innocent man will cooperate. Madhav, if the police come to you tomorrow and you're completely innocent,
No. But once again, it's a folly on the CBI's part when they argued against the granting of bail to Kejriwal on the pretext that his replies are evasive. Now, this is something that the court has observed today, Abhishek Sudhir.
Let me counter that. It's not about a folly. The CBI says that it needs custody of the suspect or judicial custody of the suspect simply because he's giving non-answers. Today, if you say that every suspect has a right to give non-evasive replies, we are not like the United States where you have the right to remain silent. In India, you don't have an absolute right to remain silent. And if you don't answer pertinent questions during interrogation, when the trial commences, this will be held against you.
All right, this is news to me, but Tehseen, would you like to respond to that? We don't have an absolute right to remain silent. Sanjay's hand going up, many hands going up. Tehseen.
Article 20 of the Indian Constitution says that you have the right not to indict yourself. It's an absolute fundamental right. It's not even a legal right. Sanjay will bear testament to me. It's a fundamental right. Why would I indict myself? The onus of proving a crime on me, hypothetically, is that of the state. Is not for me to come and give the state some evidence against me because the state wants to frame charges. I have a right to remain innocent. This business of, but he's a criminal. No, he's still innocent until he proves himself, until the state can prove himself guilty. He is not guilty till he has to prove himself innocent, and this is the fundamental difference. The most important thing. Look, look, please don't interrupt me. Let's not make this shallow, please. Why is he giving Abhishek, look, Abhishek, I don't like this.
Abhishek, you made your points. Listen to the response now. Listen to the response. Yeah, no tutu mein
Abhishek, I don't do debates like this. Let the viewers hear my point of view. You counter me after I'm done. Article 20, it's a fundamental right not to indict yourself. State, the onus of the state. But more importantly, hypothetically, Arvind Kejriwal cannot destroy mobile sitting in a rented flat. He can't call for fine sitting in a rented flat. ये क्या गजब का logic है? Tomorrow when I'm a member of parliament and I'm in parliament, you will tell me not to discharge my duty towards my constituents if the BJP decides to arrest me. Tomorrow if the BJP decides to go after Sanjay Hegde, who takes very reasonable position, the court will say, oh, you are on bail, but you can't come and practice in the Supreme Court. This logic, with respect to the courts, I bow down, but I don't agree. If evidence is going to be destroyed 3 years or 2 years after this case has come up, after whatever truckloads of evidence have been filed, after the charge sheet has been filed, it speaks volumes of what kind of an agency the CBI and the ED is. They haven't got one evidence to indict Arvind Kejriwal. Everyone in that case has got bail. The courts have been repeatedly asking for a money trail. They've got no money trail. They've kept shifting the goalposts. Where is that money trail that they kept speaking about? Where is the money that they first said went to Arvind Kejriwal, went to Aam Aadmi Party, was spent in Goa?
All right. I want to, interesting, Tehseen, that, as a side, that you did some crystal ball gazing and saw yourself in the future as a member of parliament. But let me put a question across to, Kailash Adhikari. Kailash Adhikari, this is one of the observations that's also very significant from the point of view of civil liberties and personal liberty. The court has emphasized and re-emphasized time and again that personal liberty is sacrosanct. It's of utmost importance that trial courts and high courts remain adequately alert to the need to protect personal liberty, which is a cherished right under the Constitution. It's there in black and white. It's a very, very significant observation given the fact that the Chief Minister of Delhi has been behind bars, rightly or wrongly, for over 6 months.
Madhav, no one is denying the fact that, the fundamental rights of the citizens of this country, which is protected and enshrined by the Article 14 of the Constitution of India, they are sacrosanct to all of us. And the courts, time and again, have taken very serious cognizance of it. No one is here protesting the fact that why Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has got bail. At least I'm not protesting that fact that why he has got bail. It is the court's jurisdiction, and the honorable courts are well within their powers to grant bail. It is a fundamental right. What I'm trying to say is here that the entire moral victory that the Aam Aadmi Party and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is trying to gain out of a bail does not, free him of the entire Liquorgate scandal. And with regards to the comment that Mr. Srivastava made that, now this case will drag on for 22 years. Okay, I presume that he's talking on some kind of precedence that we have seen in judiciary, but that does not mean that will apply to this case. One cannot be a soothsayer in saying that, all cases can be dragged for 20-25 years. So we have to believe in our judiciary.
Well, I agree with you there, because perhaps 20-25 years ago, we didn't have the fast-track MP-MLA case courts that exist, particularly in this particular case and others which are trying them out. And we'll have to see, of course, how quickly justice is done in these matters. But let's leave it there. In fact, and I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us. Abhishek Sudhir, Kailash Adhikari, Tehseen Poonawala, Ravi Srivastava, Sanjay Hegde, Rohan Gupta stays with us for debate number 2.